the fourth humanoid great whim has finally made an appearance. Humanoid Jupiter is a permanent 5-star light blade unit, whose appearance and attire matches his personality very well. Though his lawyer form is absolutely hot as heck, despite only appearing in the event story. As the light great whim, his kit highly resembles the mechanics in his own High Dragon trials, particularly the annoying overcharge effect, which kills the entire co-op team when at maximum charge, and when the AoE overlaps. This doesn't matter to me, as I don't really go for co-op and High Dragon trials anymore. Enough of that, let's get into his kit in further detail. His first skill, Thunder Strike, costs 2640 SP. It deals 1200% damage to frontal enemies, inflicts flash burn, and grants a strength amp, with a maximum team amp level of 1. If this skill hits an enemy with the overcharged effect, it will deal 1 additional 300% damage for every level of overcharged. This skill will also remove the overcharged effect from enemies, if it has reached level 4 prior to the skill activation. At its highest, the damage modifiers can reach up to twice the base value, up to 2400% damage at level 4 overcharge. This skill has low SP, deals decent base damage, and provides a great punisher effect, especially if overcharged, is able to be inflicted frequently. Overall, this skill is decent on its own, but becomes better with more overcharge. His second skill, Spark Ignition, costs 10,560 SP. It applies 1 level of overcharged on the target, and can apply 4 levels of overcharged when used to iframe certain attacks. Overcharge is the core of this skill, and also the core of Jupiter's kit. It allows increased damage against enemies affected by it, and also deals massive damage when removed at its highest level, just like how it kills your entire co-op team in High Dragon trials. With a high SP cost, this could have been a subpar skill. However, this isn't the only way Jupiter can apply overcharged. In fact, this ability can be used to immediately apply all 4 levels when used at the right moment. Overall, this skill is quite opportunistic, able to indirectly contribute a lot of damage when used at the right moment. For Jupiter's co-abilities, he has the standard 10% strength increase for blade units. His chain co-ability essentially grants the entire team complete immunity towards curses when having a team strength amp. As Jupiter's amping skill has a low SP cost, there should be no problem for Jupiter to maintain team strength amp, potentially having near unlimited uptime on curse resistance, making this chain co-ability one of the more impressive ones we've seen so far. Because his co-ability already provides Jupiter with curse resist, Jupiter's base affliction immunity is towards poison. As for his abilities, we'll first go to the ability found on all humanoid great whims, his own great whim nature. Light whim's nature allows Jupiter to turn into his dragon form in his first transformation, then into his high dragon form from his second transformation onwards. The second part of this ability is his overcharge mechanic. Every time Jupiter dodges an attack, he grants 1 level of overcharge to the attacking enemy and grants a strength amp. This ability has a 10-second cooldown. Overcharged has 4 levels, and will be raised by 1 level every time it is granted, while at least 1 stack is still active, and will be lowered by 1 level if the current level expires. The first level lasts for 60 seconds, and each increasing level reduces the duration by 15 seconds. When at level 4, the effect can be removed by his first skill. When removed, it deals 1500% damage within a large AoE, and also inflicting paralysis and stun. This damage is affected by abilities that increase skill damage. The second half of his ability essentially grants Jupiter burst damage when he uses his first skill on an enemy with level 4 overcharge. With the modifiers affected by skill damage, having skill damage can provide a much higher increase in damage output. His second ability, Arc Absorption, relies on the attack dealt on enemies when their overcharged effect is removed. When he is in range of said attack, his dragon gauge fills by 20%, and his HP is restored with 80% potency. This ability isn't really that important in Jupiter's kit, especially since he doesn't have any dragon damage abilities. but it can be a good way to restore lost HP, as well as accommodate a dragon build, if you persist on building Jupiter in such way. Jupiter's kit revolves around the overcharge mechanic. With it, he can deal massive amounts of damage, and even regenerate HP and dragon points. However, even without overcharged, he is still a decent damage dealer, able to provide flash burn, and even provide the entire team resistance to curses when having a team strength amp. To build Humanoid Jupiter, a standard damage dealer build is necessary for him. If you're not able to perform dodges that provide the overcharged effect, then having more skill haste will help in outputting his second skill more frequently. Also, to keep a lookout on reflexive evasion, as it counts as a form of dodging, which can still apply overcharge to the target. For his dragon of choice, do note that his fixed transformation results in only dragon abilities matter, and not dragon skills. Any light dragon with great offensive capabilities will definitely do on Humanoid Jupiter. Unfortunately, the evasion mechanic of Chronosnix will become absolutely useless on Jupiter, as it specifically mentioned that it requires a user to transform into Chronosnix. For his team setup, as he is a main damage dealer, he can build as a center to the team, with other damage dealers or even supports available to help him deal more damage. One of these supports can have an ability that helps with granting reflexive evasion to the team, as it helps in overcharge application. Perhaps in the future, we can have that kind of a unit in the light element, as for now, we only have Miriam and Holly that possess this ability. As for his Wimprint setup, here's what I would equip on Jupiter. A full focus on damage dealing, with a smudge of reflexive evasion thanks to the enemy foresight ability from a Dominion Wimprint. I also use a forbidden corrosion print to proc the crown's boon affinity, as I'm confident that my Hildegard will be capable to regenerate enough HP to make up for its HP drain. Jupiter, alongside his fellow humanoid great whims, are great damage dealers, with skills and animations resembling their attacks in High Dragon Trials. He is able to take the overcharge mechanic and use it as a good source of damage, and also for some healing and EP gain. The insane mods on the overcharge burst, the Punisher effect from his first skill to overcharged enemies, and allowing skill damage to increase the burst of overcharge, makes Jupiter an impressive main DPS unit. His weakness, I would say, is that he is not an easy unit to play. The player needs to know how to dodge at the right time in order to proc overcharged. Having reflexive evasion may help a bit, but in the end, the user's own skill in dodging is necessary. Overall, Jupiter is an impressive light DPS unit that took an annoying mechanic from his trial stage and used it to smite his enemies. Now go out there and anticipate the humanoid form of the Shadow Great Whim, Zodiac. I don't know what he'll look like, but I expect a wise, but slightly aged man. That's all from me. Moga out.